So you've just landed your first back rolls and are wondering what's next. This is just the tip of the iceberg, and there are plenty of beginner-friendly tricks to work on. In this video we'll go through the jump transition, back roll to toe side, down loop transition, front roll, jumps with grabs, and the back roll transition. As with most tricks, it's best to practice on a bigger kite in light to moderate winds. The smaller the kite, the easier it is to make a steering mistake, which can result in a harder crash. Let's hop right in with the jump transition. This is a great way to turn around, and if you already know how to jump, it only requires a couple of small adjustments. So let's break it down step by step. Ride in on a crosswind course at a medium to low speed with your kite at 1. Steer your kite up towards 12 and start carving towards the wind. Park the kite at 11:30 and pull the bar down so you leave the water. Steer hard left after you reach the apex of your jump to dive your kite. Point the board in the new riding direction for your landing and steer the kite back towards 45 degrees. If needed, you can do some power strokes. Let's have a closer look at the board and the bar. I slowly let the bar go up as I initiate my carve. As the kite passes 11:30, I pull the bar down and look towards my landing. This is a crucial step to prevent rotation. Keep the bar down for maximum lift and point the board in your new riding direction, absorbing the impact and riding it out. When doing the jump transitions, there are a couple of key factors to keep in mind. First, the carve towards the wind. If you don't make a proper carve upwind, you'll continue flying on a crosswind course and find it really hard to regain speed after landing, because there's no power left in the kite. When the carve is done correctly, you'll still have plenty of power to dive the kite and to continue riding in the opposite direction. The second part is kite steering. After the kite passes 12, you really want to park it at half an hour past 12 or 11:30 in this case. Keeping the kite in this position allows you to dive it just before landing and accelerate out. For the next trick, you'll need to be able to do a back roll and ride toe side. If you haven't done this yet, you might want to check out this video up here. There? Yeah, there. If you have, you'll be surprised how easy it is to land a back roll to toe side. Let's dive in and see what it looks like. Ride in with medium speed on a crosswind course with the kite at 45 degrees. Slowly steer it up to 12:30 and start carving towards the wind. Pop off the water when your kite passes 1 and give a light steering input right. You can increase this input when you spot your landing. Let go with the front hand in order to twist toe side and prevent the kite from diving too deep in the wind window. Steer it towards 45 degrees and continue riding. Let's zoom in to see what the body and the bar are doing. Slowly let the bar out as you carve towards the wind and aim for the same rotation as a normal back roll. Only start twisting toe side when you can spot your landing. Letting go with the front hand can aid your final rotation. Kite steering can make or break your landing here. If your kite passes over 12 and stays on the opposite side for too long, you'll lose all your forward momentum and spend more time in the air, which can lead to an over-rotation or landing without speed. So remember to keep a bit of steering pressure on your front hand so the kite stays on the riding side of 12. To get used to the power of a looping kite, we can do a down loop transition. This transition is also very useful when you want to turn but somebody is riding upwind behind you, preventing you from steering a kite over 12 during your transition. Ride in with medium speed and kite at 45 degrees. Steer the kite up towards 12:30 and move your weight on top of the board. Initiate the downwind gybe. Pull the bar down and steer the kite in a loop. Continue steering the kite until it points at 11. Straighten the bar and only untwist when you're in full control of the kite. Let's have a close look at the gybe. Steer the kite up towards 11:30 and slowly shift your weight on top of the board. Transition from your heel side to toe side. Slowly pull the bar down and steer the kite in a loop after initiating the gybe. Your board should always point in the direction of the kite to prevent power buildup. Only let your bar out when the kite has completed the loop and points back at 11. Loops can be very gentle, but they can also develop a lot of power, which often scares the riders. It might sound counterintuitive, but it's super important not to depower the kite and to keep the bar all the way in during the loop. This helps to keep the loop tight with a smaller turning radius, resulting in less pull. At the same time, you want to follow the power of the kite by standing over your board and pointing it in the same direction as your lines, following the kite throughout the turn. Don't try to resist the pull by leaning back, as this will only accelerate the kite, creating more power and speed. After the back roll, there's only one direction left to rotate, and that is going forward. We're going to look at the popped front roll, which is perfect to start with. Ride in at a crosswind course with medium speed and the kite at 45 degrees. Steer it up towards 12:30 and start carving when it passes 1. Pop from the water and give a very gentle pressure on your front hand. Spot your landing and steer a bit more with the front hand if needed. Absorb the impact and continue riding. Only untwist the lines when you're in control. You first want to steer the kite up and only start carving when the kite reaches 1. Pull the front leg in, kick with the back and look over the back shoulder. Keep both legs equally bent after the takeoff for a smooth rotation. Point the board in the riding direction and absorb the landing. The most common mistake when riders try a front roll is pulling too hard on the front hand, causing the kite to dive down in the wind window. To avoid this, you can place your hands closer together so it's harder to give a steering input. But there's a bigger reason why this happens, and that's not initiating enough rotation from the water. It's very important to carve towards the wind before takeoff and pop off the water by pulling in your front leg and pushing with your back leg. This creates rotation. And when you also look over your back shoulder, you have a very solid combination. The next trick is massively overlooked in my opinion. Grabs are a really fun and stylish way to take your existing tricks to the next level. Before you get started, make sure you're comfortable steering a kite with one hand while holding the power line between your index and middle finger. This allows you to steer by pulling on your index or pinky finger, which is crucial for a controlled jump. Perform a regular jump where you focus on a nice vertical takeoff. After you pulled the bar down to jump, you can let go with the back hand. Focus on keeping the kite at 11:30 until it's time to redirect the landing. Use the backhand for additional control and land as normal. Ride in with the power line between your index and middle finger. Bring the back leg up towards your hand and keep the front leg extended. Hold the grab for as long as you feel comfortable or until you have to redirect the kite. With two hands, you should have enough control to land softly and continue riding. After the jump, you can place your front hand next to the power line again. To do a grab, you'll need to let go with one hand, often the back hand, to reach for the board. That means only one hand remains on the bar, making it harder to steer. This often leads to the most common mistake, redirecting the kite too early for the landing. That is exactly why placing the power line between your index and middle finger is so important. The last trick is the backroll jump transition. In my eyes, this is one of the best feeling and most stylish ways to turn around. Of course, you need to be very comfortable with both your backroll and your jump transitions, because you're basically combining the two. The kite steering is pretty much identical to a regular jump transition, where you steer the kite past 12 and try to park it at 11:30 for your jump. Generally speaking, you can dive the kite after the apex or when you see your landing. Make sure to keep the bar down for maximum power. The biggest difference can be found in the carve. Try to carve all the way to the wind and continue a bit further. Together with looking over the front shoulder, this will result in the back roll. It will be easy to spot your landing and point your board in the new riding direction. Remember to only untwist the bar when you're in full control and riding at a steady pace. You can do this transition low to the water, which is generally a bit easier, or you can start adding height. Just keep in mind that with more height, you'll also need more kite control to ensure a soft landing. With that, you'll have plenty of tricks to work on in your upcoming sessions. And when you feel like you've mastered some of them, you can start combining them to take things to the next level. Like this grabbed backroll to toe side with a downloop gybe. The possibilities are endless, and when you practice tricks step by step, you'll quickly find yourself landing new ones. For the next video, I'd suggest this one, where I talk about key details to add control and height to your jumps. Or you can check out any of the other videos suggested. Hope to see you there. Cheers!